Okay, so welcome back to this channel. So now in this video we will see that how we can integrate Auth0 with Next.js. So if you don't know, Auth0 is a service that basically provide a complete authentication solution for our applications. So now in this video we will integrate Auth0 in our Next.js app. So first of all, we have to go to their official website, that is auth0.com, and create our account here. So I click on login and I will log in with my GitHub account. So I will click on continue with GitHub and it will log in with my GitHub account. Okay, so this is my dashboard. So now first of all we have to create our new application here. So I click on this create application from here, or I can go in the applications, click on this application, and then let's create a new application. So create application, I will type in here name like Next.js with Auth0. This is the name, and for the technology I will choose this Next.js. So click on continue and now it will create my application. Okay, so our application is now created successfully. You can also download the sample code from here, or we can also follow these steps to integrate Auth0 in our application. So first of all, let's scroll down and we have to get our API keys, this domain, client ID and client secret. Okay, we have to add these API keys into our application. So I, for example, copy it from here, go back and go in, create a new file that is called .env.local. In that I will paste that. So let's change it and add our own API keys here. So I will simply, and first of all here for the secret, let's say I will use here random string like this for auth secret. Okay, then I will go back and let's open this application also in new tab, and then click on that, and I will go here in the settings. In the settings, first of all, let's copy this domain and I put that here. Then I will copy this client ID and I put that here, and then I will copy this client secret and I will put that here. Okay, so I will delete this application after recording this video. So I have added all my keys. Simply close this file from here. Now let's go back and we have to install this Next.js SDK now, that is auth0 / Next.js-auth0. So let's install this package for our Next.js application and I will install that. Now let's go back, and now we have to first of all add in here the callback URL and logout URL in our settings. So I will copy this callback URL from here, that is going to be localhost port 3000 /API/auth/callback. So I will go in the application details, and you can also upload here your own logo if you want. I will use this default, and then I will scroll down and we have here allowed callback URL. So I will paste that here. And for the logout URL, I will simply add in here localhost port 3000 and click on save changes. And then I go back. Now we have also installed our package. We have added our API keys, and now we have to create our backend route in which we have to add these two lines. So we have to import this handle auth from our package, and then we have to export it as a GET request. So let's create this route. I will go back in the app, create a new folder, API. In that we have to create auth folder. And now in that we have to create our auth0 folder like this. Now in the auth0 we will create our route.ts file, and in here we have to write our code. And remember that if we add these brackets, this is our dynamic route. So now if I go back and let's copy these two lines and paste that here, and that is it. We just have to import this handle auth and we have to export it like this. So now this route will give us different endpoints like /login, logout, callback and /me. And after adding this, now on the front end we have to wrap our layout with this user provider that we have to import from our package. So I will add that, copy it from here, go back to our layout.tsx and let's use that here. So I will add here the user provider, and then let's wrap our entire body with this. Save it, and now our application is wrapped inside the user provider, and now we can import and use our user in our application. So let's go back, and now we just have to call this endpoint, that is /API/auth/login, and that will open this login screen. So for that I will simply go back in my page.tsx and let's add in here our button that will redirect us to the login page. So I add here div, let's give here class of flex, and then justify dash center, and let's also add in here items center, and the height is going to be screen and flex column. In that I have to add in here my link. So I will import the link from next/link, and that is going to be login. Okay, so I will go to /API/auth/login, and let's also give here some class names. So I will give in here bg blue, that is going to be 500, then hover bg dash blue dash 700, then text let's say white, and font is going to be bold. Okay, and let's also add in here padding x of let's say 4 and padding y of 2, and then rounded. Simply save it, and now let's run our application. So I will type here npm run dev. Now let's open our application. So now if I click on this login button, it will redirect us to the Auth0 login page. You can see that here we have this page where we can sign up with our email, or we can also add here our social accounts. For example, let's sign up with our email. I click on sign up. I will add here my email, this one, and let's add here a password. Let's say I added this password. So I also have to add here uppercase. So I will type here my password like this. Okay, so now if I click on continue, so now I will click on this accept, and now I am logged in. And to check that, I will simply go back, and I will create here in the app folder, I will create a new basically folder with the name me. In the me, I will create page.tsx file. In that I will simply call it me page, and I have to get my user in here. For that I will use this get session from my package. So that is going to be get session from this package, and then I can simply use that here. So I will type here data is going to be use get session. Okay, then I can log in here my data like this. Okay, so now if I go back and go to /me, and if I go to the inspect, click on console, if I reload the page, I have here some issue that is going to be we have this error. So promise pending, we have to also use in here await and make this function async. Save it, and now if I go back and reload this page, and you can see that here we will get our user. You can see that we have session, nickname of the user, name of the user, picture, then we have updated email verified is false. Then we also get in here our access token scope, and access token expire at, and we have this token type is bearer. So now let's display the user details here. So I will simply add here some class names. Okay, so I will center everything, and then I will simply use here image to display my image. So I will use image from next/image, and for the source I will use in here data.user.picture. Okay, and then we can use here our alt, and then give here width and height. And after that, let's display in here h1, let's display the username. So I will type in here, let's say nickname, that is going to be data.user.nickname. In the same way we will display the full name, so that is going to be name. And also let's give here class name of 2xl to display it in bigger size. So I will also add it in here. Save it, and now if I go back and reload this page, we have to basically add this in our domains. So I will copy it from here, go to my this next.config, and add here images. In that we have to add our domains, and I will add that in here. Save it, and now if I reload the page, and now you can see that here we are getting our user nickname, a user image, and then the name of the email of the user, which is name in this case. And you can display the other details, and we can also add here a logout button. Let's add here. So I will simply add here let's say a link. Okay, and href is going to be /API/auth/logout. Okay, and I will call it logout, and let's add here some classes. So I will add here class name, add these classes in here. Okay, so now if I go back, you can see that here we have this logout button. So if I click on this logout, it will log me out from my application. Okay, and now if I go to /me, you can see that here I am getting nothing, and to prevent the user from going here, we have to protect this route. So for that I will simply create here a new file that is called middleware, a Next.js middleware.ts, and here I can protect my routes. So I have to simply import middleware from the package that is going to be our Auth0 Next.js package /edge, and from here we have to import a function with middleware auth required. So I will export it and type here export default this middleware, and then we have to export here our config object in which we can basically pass our routes that we want to protect. So in the matcher I will type here /me, save it, and now let's restart it once and let's check it out. Okay, so now if I go back and if I reload this page, and now you can see that I am redirected back to the login page. And if I go in here, I am redirected back again. So if I log in and if I click on continue, so now you can see that I am here again with my details. And also if I log out, we can also use here our social logins if we want to use that. We have signed up with our email. Now if I click on login, so now we can also add here social logins. If I go back to my application details, here I can go to this authentication, then social. Okay, and then we can add in here our social connections. And also if I go here in the user management, in the users, you will see that we have here our user, that is this one, that has signed up with the username password authentication, and we have 2 logins. Last login is few seconds ago. So now to add here social connection, I click on this create button, and now you can add your social connections in here. For example, I want to add like Facebook, you can add Google, LinkedIn. Let's say I add in here Facebook. If I click on that, I click on continue. Now you can add here your Facebook app ID and app secret. Okay, and if you don't add in here, you can use the dev keys from Auth0, but if you want to use in production, you have to provide your app ID and app secret. You can follow their guide to obtain your app ID and app secret. I will use the dev keys, so I will simply click on this create, and that will add the social connection in my application. I just have to select here my application, that is this one, so I turn it on. And now if I reload this page, or I will simply go to here, and now you can see that I have here continue with Facebook. In the same way I can add other basically connections. For example, let's add in here GitHub also. If you want to add that, create connection, and then I can click on this GitHub, and it will add that into my application. Continue, create, I will select my application, and now the GitHub is also added into my application login. So now if I reload it again, now you will see we also have here GitHub. And this way you can add all the social connections you want to use. And if I go to my social again, you will see a warning. You will see this warning that active with Auth0 dev keys. So both of our connections are active with dev keys. We can add here our production keys. For example, I want to add production keys for this GitHub, so I will click on this, and then I can add in here my GitHub API key right here, the client key and client secret. So let's add here. I go to my GitHub account. I will click on this settings. Okay, then I will go here in the developer settings, Auth0 app, register a new application. I will call it Auth0 with Next.js, and homepage URL is going to be, let's copy our URL and go to the application. Let's obtain our URL, which is this one. Copy that, then I can add in here like this, and then we authorize callback URL, which is going to be this. Okay, and then I will click on this register application. Now I can simply copy my client ID from here. I will put that here, then I will copy my client secret. So I will click on this generate a new client secret, Then I can copy that and use that in here like this. Okay, now I will delete this Auth0 application after recording this video. If I click on save changes, so now we are using our keys in here. We are no longer using the Auth0 dev keys. So now you can see that the warning is gone from here. In the same way, you can add your social connections and you can basically add your own API keys for that social connection. So let's log in with Facebook. For example, I click on this continue with Facebook. So I will accept, and I just have to add this in my domains for the image. So I will go back and I will add that in my here like this. And now if I go back and if I reload this page, so now you can see that I am logged in with my Facebook account. Here is my name and nickname, and I can also log out. And if I go here in the user management, in the users, you will see that I have here this user, that connection is Facebook, and login attempts one a few seconds ago. So in this way, you can integrate Auth0 into your Next.js application. You can use any social connection, and also you can basically use regular sign up with email and password. So now we know that how we can log in, how we can display the user details, how we can get the current user, and how we can log out. Before closing this video, let's also handle the update of the user. If we want to update the details of the user, and remember that we can only update the details of this user that has signed up with email and password. We cannot change the details of a user that is logged in with Facebook, GitHub, or Google. Because we are using their service just to authenticate the users. We cannot send requests to Google database and update the name of the user. We can only update the user details for the users that has signed up with email and password with this user password authentication or with this database connections. Okay, so we can just update the user that has signed up with user password authentication. So let's see how we can do that. So first of all, let me go back and I will add here a button to update the user. So I will simply copy it from here and I will put that here, and let's use in here link. Okay, so that is going to be slash me slash update, and we have to import the link from next slash link, and I will use here bg orange like this. Save it, and now if I go back, you can see that here we have to change it update. Now we can use this update button to go to the update page and update the details of the user. So let's go to our application app. In the me, I will create a new folder with the name update. In that I will create my page.tsx file. So to save some time, I have added here a simple code. You can see that here this is a React component. I am using here use client. I have here one state variable for the name and a submit handler, and then I have this simple form that contains only one field with this name. So this is going to be, if I click on that, you can see that this is simple form with one field name that we want to update. So I have added here value and then on change, and then we have here update button. So now we have to send the request to the Auth0 and update the name of the user. So we have to write our logic in this handle submit. So what I can do here is I can simply use their, either you can use their management API, okay, or you can use their endpoint to update the user. So I will use the endpoint. So first of all, we have to prepare our data. So const data is going to be the name of the user, and then you have to send this data. So I will use here fetch. So const res is going to be await fetch, and now in this fetch we can basically write the endpoint. So if I go back and let's go here in the application, and then I will go here in the APIs. So we have to use this Auth0 management API. If I click on that, I have to copy this identifier, which is going to be this. So I copy that. Okay, so I will put that here, and then this is our endpoint. Now we have to update the user. So I will type here slash v2 slash users and then slash the ID of the user. And to get that, I will simply use in here use user hook. So I will get the user from use user, and we have to get that from Auth0 client. So now I can use here user dot I can use in here this sub, which is the ID of the user. And then we have to pass here some other options like the method. So the method is going to be patch. Content type is going to be application/JSON, and then we have to use here authorization. Okay, in that we have to use here bearer token. So I will use in here like bearer, and we will get the test token from Auth0 dashboard. So for that I simply go to here in the APIs under the applications, and then I click on this Auth0 management API, and then I can go here in the API explorer. Okay, so I click on create an authorized test application, so that will give us a token that we can use to update the user. So I will use this token for now, copy that, and I will put that in here. Okay, and after this token we have to pass in the data. So what I will do here is I will simply first of all close this header, and then let's pass in here the body that is going to be JSON.stringify. In that I will pass my data. Okay, and then I will type in here const res data is going to be await res.json. Okay, and then I will log in here the res data. Simply save it, and now let's quickly test it out. First of all, go back, and now let's first of all log in with our email and password. So I log out from here, then I click on login, and let's log in with our email and password. So I will type in here that and click on continue, and now let's update the name of the user. So now I will go to /me. Now let's update the name. I go to the update, and I type here, for example, I type here my name, and now if I click on update, if I go to the inspect on the console, you can see that here we get here object that contains these details. And if I just go to here in the where it is user management, in the users, here I have my user. You can see that the name is updated. If I type here like my full name, and now my name is this, and if I click on update, we have some issue that let's update again. I will go back and put in here this name. Now if I click on update, so now you can see that it is updated again, and now my name is updated also. If I reload this page, and now it will also update it here. So in this way we can integrate Auth0 in our Next.js application. We can get the current user, we can log out the user, and in this way we can update the user. Now this is the very basic way of updating the user. We have a separate management API that we can use to manage the user. For example, if I search here Auth0, so you can see that here we have this complete management API that we can use to manage our user. So if you want an in-depth video on how we can manage the complete user, like updating the user with this management API, deleting the user, getting all the users, let me know in the comment section. I will create a separate video on a management API. You simply have to install this Auth0 package, and then you have to get this management client, and now with this management instance you can basically get all the users, update the users, and perform all the operations related to this management API or to the users. Okay, so you can use this package also, but I just want to show you how we can update quickly. So that's why I have used here this endpoint and provided here this token just to show you. Otherwise we usually use this management API that help us to manage the user. Okay, so that's the end of this video. I hope that you understand. We have successfully integrated Auth0 in Next.js application. We are getting the current user, we are logging out the user, and we also have added our social connections like Facebook and GitHub. And I have also shown how we can basically add our API keys in our social connections. Okay, otherwise Auth0 will use dev API keys. And also I have shown the basic way to update the user. Otherwise we use management API to manage our user. So if you want a detailed video on management API, let me know in the comment section. I will create video on that. So that's it for this video. You can find the source code of this video in the description of this basically video. I will add the Git repo link. So that's it. I will see you in some other video.